everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I am building a wooden castle, which might not be a castle, it might be a castle, I'm not sure. You've seen the intro video, I guess you could decide if it could be considered a castle or not, but I was sent a picture by my friend Marcy Lacelle, who is also on YouTube and Twitch and stuff. I'll link her probably in the description, maybe in a pinned comment somewhere, but she sent me a picture and I was like, that is my dream home. I don't know if I could build it, so I'm gonna try, because normally if I see something that I'm like, I don't know if I'm capable of building that, I usually don't. So now I'm like, okay, Megan, you're gonna try, and if it goes horrible, you could just delete the video and no one would even know. So this took me 3 attempts. I was on like a Discord call with my friends and I was just trying to like get the shape of the build. I tried different worlds to put it in, 3 different shapes. This was 3rd or 4th attempt and it was like the most okay out of all of them, but I was able to like go through debug, search through to see what could possibly do these like intricate wooden details. I'll put a picture up. So I'm gonna like stop my recording. I'm gonna immediately put a picture in so I don't forget. So let me go and do that and then I'll explain the picture better. So yeah, as you can see, I tried my best to get the general shape of the house, but some of it isn't really like in The Sims because it's hard to replicate, and I didn't want to get too caught up in the details because once that happens, I give up and I can't do anymore. So I used to never be able to build by looking at a picture because I would get like so like focused on making sure it matched exactly, which was never gonna happen. But there's a lot of they're like looks like curving branches going up the entire build, and like on the what are those called? I'm not gonna be able to explain it. But you see the picture, a lot of details, so the only way that I thought that I could replicate some of this was by using fences, columns, and I haven't added it yet, but there's these vines from Cottage Living. I think they're like the brambles, and I used those. I set the build to winter so there would be no greenery on them. So I don't know what this build looks like not in winter. Maybe at the end of this video I will do a little like video at the end of the video that shows it in a different season, because it'll be a surprise for me too. But it might be good though, because as I'm looking at the reference picture, there is some greenery on the bottom of it that I'm just now noticing, which means that majority of this build's detail does come from like ivy type vines that just currently don't have leaves on them. So I guess it ended up working out. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's gonna possibly look like in like the spring or summer. I'm a little bit scared and nervous, but we'll see. Okay, picture gone. I feel like I'm doing a presentation. That was also really hard. I had to look up a video on how to do that. I'm just learning how to like edit stuff and add things, so every time I upload a video, it's me learning how to make videos, because I've never done this before. I only just started like 2 months ago. But these were the brambles I was talking about. I line mostly all the fences. I keep wanting to say eaves, but I think the eaves are like the points of the roofs. Spandrels. Okay, I think they're called spandrels, right? So I line the spandrels with those brambles, and that's kind of like what I was relying on. I put these They were the trees. I forgot the word for trees, but I put those on the roof, which I think is my favorite part of the build, and I think is what makes it seem like maybe there's trunks and branches going down the entire build. Because I like to imagine that this build is kind of made of these materials, but if I had done that, it would have taken me so long. This would have been like an hour-long video. It's already was long, so I don't know what to tell you. But I'd actually be like curious to know what like you'd have done differently for making it look like it was made of branches because I would love some more ideas for future builds because I feel like this was a good starting point, a good like almost beginner's thing into making something that looks like this. So if you have ideas, feel free to share because I'm open to any ideas that can help make my builds look a little bit more weird or like realistic. Well, I guess as realistic as it's gonna be, but yeah. The shape is ended up being okay. It's not matching the picture, which I don't like to do. I think that a big reason for being like discouraged from building is when you see someone else's build or you see a picture of a build and you're like, I could never build that. I'm never going to get it right. And you compare it too much to the other image because it's never going to match 100%. So you kind of just have to have your own vision and accept that if it looks good on the screen to you, then it's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to match the exact image, which is not what I was trying to do at all. I am happy with the branches that I had picked because I went through debug for a long time and I own almost like, no, I do own all the build packs because I can't control myself, I guess. So that was the best option that I could find besides maybe just using a million more. I always do little ponds and stuff in my builds. I think it just helps to save time because landscaping can take forever and I don't like having to like place so many things down, especially when I'm recording, because I feel like I start getting stressed because I'm thinking about, oh, this video is going to be really long. I usually have trouble with rendering long videos, so I need to keep it down, and little lakes and ponds really help with that. So I do it in the back too. It's the same thing. I just lower some stuff, I add water, and I grab whatever I think would look natural completely around the pond. Sometimes I use rocks, but rocks do take longer. So this time I did plants, which is fine. I also lined the foundation that was showing through the water with bushes just to cover it up. Again, sometimes I do rocks. I learned that the like greenery helps a lot too. This build is so dark too. I haven't recorded the intro video that I always do because it's so hard to find good lighting. And I think the lighting has already changed like a couple of times in this video already. I don't know what kind of lighting I used. So I was, once again, I was building this on VC with my friends. We were drinking and just hanging out and building on The Sims. So I don't know what I did, but I'm glad that I was able to get the correct lighting when I was building, because I can't figure it out now. But the layout gave me some trouble because the downstairs is pretty small. When I was looking at this build, I was like, oh, this is a giant build. It's really not. There are 3 floors, but the inside is pretty small, and I did struggle a little bit. I ended up just making this a 1-bedroom, but the 1-bedroom is giant. There's also the upstairs, which I kind of just threw some stuff in. I think it's like a study library area, but say you download the house and you have a family, you could renovate it for that purpose, I guess. I don't like doing too many bedrooms because bedrooms kind of get boring after a while, but also when I'm playing in The Sims And if I download a house from the gallery, I don't really like to keep the like original bedroom the same because I like to personalize bedrooms to my Sims. So like if I had done another bedroom and I just cluttered so much, I feel like it kind of is a waste because it also limits people's like storytelling and creativity if they do decide to play in this build. Is this functional? I think it is functional. Am I lying? I might be lying. Did I playtest this? I playtested some of it. I know for a fact that the living room works because I had to turn on the fireplace for the chimney smoke, which I think is the only part of the build that I was worried wouldn't function, so I'm like sure everything else is completely fine. So I also noticed now that I placed more spider webs by the beds. That was pointed out to me and it made me really think. I was like, Megan, you do make these Sims suffer by constantly covering their bedrooms in spider webs. And I talk about how my builds are like my dream house. That is not my dream house. I would not want spider webs by my bed, but it's like all of my builds have spider webs everywhere. I think it's just gonna happen. I do try and not pick the web that does show a spider in it because I don't want to like have people who are afraid of them seeing it. So I try my best to pick the right ones, but it's hard to remember sometimes. But usually if I am like taking a reel or something and I do see it, I'd like replace it. But yeah, I do like this bedroom. I think the bedroom is where I put most of my effort in, which is like strange for me because the bedrooms are usually the last thing I do, so I never put any effort in, but this is the first place that I did, probably because it was the biggest room, so I was like, okay, let's just do the biggest room to begin with. Put a bunch of clutter around. The wall of mirrors is one of my favorite things to do, to just fill up space, because if you play The Sims, you know that the wall art is very limited. You could kind of get tired of using the same paintings over and over. So for me to like fill up some space without having to look at the same paintings, I just use the same mirrors. So I use the same mirrors, but for some reason it doesn't feel as tiresome to me. I wonder if the mailman is here because I hear my dogs barking, but maybe I'll pause and I'll come back and explain some more of this build. I'm back. Hours later. I did a bunch of stuff, but now I need to place where I am in this build. And I did see that I had finally done garlic wreath with a circular mirror all the way in the little corner by the bed. I had like that appear in my mind randomly, and I've been thinking about it for like a week. I was like, I need to remember garlic mirror. And so when I had that one, I do like that little flower mirror, so I was like, should I just do a different garlic mirror around, because I really like the flower one. But I think I just left it like that. And I thought that like I was onto something by using wall art of trees, since the house is wooden and supposed to be like look like it's a part of trees. But this room is my favorite room in the entire house, and it's so simple. It's a chess table, the telescope, because it's not a build without a telescope, and a little desk, and that's it. But I love it so much. If I was in this house, I would never leave that room. I probably wouldn't decorate it like that. I'd probably have like some sort of seating area out there and just like lay there all day. But I don't know, it's cute. It's like open to the outside. It would kind of be cold though, since it is winter, but you know, just bundle up lots of blankets. I wanted that rocking chair in this house so bad, but I made it work. I was like, oh, this would be perfect for this build, and then I gave everyone motion sickness by moving the camera around a bunch to find the perfect spot for it. So I try and limit how much I move the camera around so much, but it's hard to remember, especially because I wasn't just building this in the mindset that I was recording. I was building it and like hanging out with people. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, when I was editing, I was like, yeah, I see that I'm moving the camera around way more than I normally would like to. So I apologize for that. But yeah, bathroom, I used all of the little wooden things. I love the, like, can you build that toilet in the woodworking table? Probably, right? I don't remember where that's from. And that tub. I think you build that, but like it's just unlocked because I have organized build by and stuff. But yeah, I love doing bathrooms now, but I still don't clutter them that much. But I love the bathroom clutter kit, specifically for the messy towels and like the empty tubes of stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's going in all of my builds. And I was worried at first because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get a lot of use out of that kit. But like, I guess $5 for 2 items might be too much. But I think that it was worth it for me. And oh, that wand, when I placed that wand and I was editing, I was like, oh, I could have probably used wands outside as like columns and stuff. I don't know how well that would look. I'm going to try and remember to test just sizing up the wands and move using tool to like rotate them to see if they could make some sort of column, because that could be really cool. I would really like doing that. Herbs wherever I feel like something is empty. That's a great just like tip. I don't know. I just love it hanging herbs in places by windows and stuff because again, I don't really use a lot of wall art. I try, but I think I do usually one wall and then I'm like, that's enough wall art. But like realistically, how many houses have a lot of wall art? I'm currently sitting in a room with stuff covering my walls, but it's not art, it's just random things. So I guess it is pretty realistic to have a lot of stuff on your walls. This kitchen, I've been loving doing kitchens lately, but this one is very just like basic. I didn't add a lot of clutter to it. I think I just limited it because I knew that it was a very small room. And it's really hard to take pictures of small rooms in The Sims unless you like zoom out of tab mode. But sometimes that makes the pictures look a little bit strange. And as you can see, that living room is so tiny too. And I finally remember that I can move walls around because for some reason, every time I'm building, I think I have to like stick to what's already there and what floor plan I already kind of like settled on at the beginning. And this time I was like, oh, okay, the kitchen is a weird shape. That entire like cabinet area changes. I like move stuff over and then the kitchen's a lot smaller, which I think is better because it's a small house. I feel like the kitchen could be a little bit smaller. Yeah, see, I like start shoving things over onto that wall and I add an archway to open it up to the very tiny dining room. That's also a thing. I don't know if that's functional. I'll have to check. I do need to go back in and film the like video that shows the build, and also I have to put it in Spring or something so I could play it at the end of the video so I could see what that looks like and everyone could see what that looks like. So if you watch to the end, I guess you get a little treat. So it's either going to be really ugly or cuter than what it is currently. And I feel like if it's cuter than what it is currently, do I just use that as my pictures? Because I'm struggling to take pictures of the build right now too. Because like the shadows aren't really letting me capture all the little like details of the brambles correctly. So it's going to take me a little while. I'm going to have to really just like focus and figure out what the perfect lighting is in the game. Like, thank God for like, what is it, MCC? I don't know how many C's are in there, but thank God for that because it just lets you change the time of day using the mailbox and the weather. So I just sit there cycling through different times of the day, different levels of cloudiness to try and like get the perfect picture, which sometimes stresses me out. I think taking pictures now is probably my least favorite part of building, which used to be my favorite because I only used to post my pictures on Instagram and stuff, and I never really did video content. But now I think reels are probably my favorite to do because it's kind of easier. There's less like, because it's vertical video, so like there's less space of the build that's in the picture. My favorite Batu table, I went on a whole like not even a rant. I just went on a whole thing about Batu on my Instagram story the other day, where I like took out all my favorite Batu items, and I'm like, look at these items. Everyone needs Batu, and I do stand by that. Batu is great. Some of those herbs by that window are also from Batu. I need to dedicate a time to doing a Batu only build, and I'm going to eventually, because I'm doing a limited pack series where I do a build for every single pack. So I'll get to it. I don't know if that'll be my next limited pack build. It's not going to, because I already have one planned and built already. So it's not the next one, but maybe the next one that I start working on. Who knows? But yeah, I do little like things here and there. I added a tombstone in the water, but I think it just immediately like went into the bottom of the water. I was gonna say, wow, that's really cool. Lots of trash. These are like my finishing touches of my builds, is adding trash and making it look more lived in and stuff. My dogs again, but it's almost the end of the video. So yeah, I'll say my thank yous now. But yeah, thank you for watching, and also subscribing. I hit 100 subscribers, which is nice. I've been building on YouTube for a couple of months, so it is a nice even number to see. And yeah, I'll have more stuff out. I post every Mondays, unless I start getting like burnt out, then I'll take a week to myself. But I have another video already like edited and stuff for next week, because it's part of a collab, so that's something to look forward to. I'm gonna like end up probably finishing that early, so I might get ahead of my posting schedule and like have one ready a week before each time. This is also my favorite part. I love this porch. It's so tiny, but I feel like it's worth it. But yeah, I'm talking over it. This is where the spring pictures are gonna be, so I don't know if I'm gonna like it yet. I'll post in the description or comment if I like it. But thank you for watching. Bye.